Hi, I'm Darshana Shah, and this is In the Spotlight, a podcast by Aditya Birla Capital, where we uncover the ideas and innovations shaping the landscape of loans, investments, insurance, and payments in India. Our guests today are Kamlesh Rao, MD and CEO of Aditya Birla Sun Life Insurance, and with him we have Ashima Bhat, Group Head at HDFC Bank, which has been one of ABSLI's most trusted partners for over 8 years and its single largest business contributor. Hi Ashima, welcome to In the Spotlight, and it is our privilege to have you here. And Kamlesh, one more time, welcome to In the Spotlight. So today we are going to be talking about life insurance and how the categories moved. And Ashima, speaking about that, you being the founding member in HDFC for 30 years, and especially a banking environment which is otherwise a male domain. So how has been your journey? What got you into a bank, and how have you seen your journey?
First of all, thank you for having me here. My journey has been absolutely thrilling and exciting because it was more so at the time I joined at the time when the banking licenses were actually issued. So it was just starting
Wow.
something from scratch, and I joined the bank when we were not even a bank. It was it was a company actually, and the license came a month after I joined. So we've actually seen the organization, I have seen the organization grow literally from scratch. And it's been absolutely amazing. I have seen banking evolve in the last few years tremendously. Coming from like a primarily public sector and a smattering of foreign banks, I think the banking landscape in the country has evolved so beautifully over the last 30 odd years that it's actually been a very exciting journey, and there's always something to learn.
And as a woman in BFSI, how do you feel that journey for you?
I think there's been, with the organization itself, it's been an equal opportunity completely. The one thing that I must say that there should be more women in BFSI. That has been increasing over the last few years, but it could have been a lot more because this is an easy space, and it's a wonderful space for women to be in.
No, I absolutely agree. In fact, yesterday when I was in one of the BFSI forum, and that is what exactly we were pitching, that we need more and more women to come in
I
and
agree.
get into leadership. So that brings me to the next, question and an issue. How have you seen life insurance as a category moving in banking and in BFSI overall?
I think after your like privatization that's happened, it's actually evolved to a great extent, and the awareness of life insurance. Earlier on, actually, when I started, it was something that your parents or your father, the male member of the family, looked at primarily on life insurance.
True.
But I have seen that evolve, the awareness of life insurance. It was actually a taboo topic. So it's one of those touchy topics that, mortality itself to face is one of those, what should I say, inauspicious conversations. So when you talk about life insurance, you're actually assuming something bad happening, which is not really the case.
And it's
It's
still a term plan that people think that only
they
when I
all,
die I will get.
yeah, exactly. So, it's the conversation is becoming more and more evolved, and it's not becoming a shy conversation. That's how I've seen it change, which is why you see the penetration also improving. There's miles to go on the penetration,
True.
I would admit. And if you're talking about women, there's even longer miles to go on women penetration, but at least the conversation has begun.
So you are seeing the conversation beginning and people waking up, or people realizing that life insurance is important from where it started as a taboo.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm seeing that. I'm seeing that change tremendously because companies such as ABSLI, I think they've brought about that awareness. There's a lot more awareness rather than just a couple of companies in that space. So that's helped tremendously.
So coming to you, Kamlesh, because as we know that in our scheme of things, our banker partners and an esteemed partner like HDFC is very important, and we've been working with them for past 8 years. So what has been, our vantage point? How is this partnership being meaningful for us at ABSLI?
If you look at the stature of HDFC as a bank, so I keep telling people when I get onto a podium to say, people get their identities from, in the erstwhile, they used to get the identities from the gharanas that they used to belong to.
Yeah.
And in today's world, you get your identity for the companies that you work for. I mean, who knows Kamlesh Rao? When you say Kamlesh Rao, CEO, Aditya Birla, life insurance is where the identity gets completed. And I've seen HDFC Bank as being a kind of a benchmark that everybody looks up to in the banking world. And for us at insurance, remember that HDFC Bank as a distributor is the third largest life insurance company in this country today. So that's the size that we are talking about. HDFC in the banking fraternity the only thing which is most important for them is the fact that you have to take care of your customers, because there's nothing more important than that, because they entrust their money with them, CASA, TD, all of them are so important. So our role essentially has been to make sure we are able to offer that product that customer needs. And for me, HDFC Bank does a lot of business. It's one of our largest partners, undoubtedly. But I stand on podiums to thank HDFC Bank for saying they helped us make our organization move faster. Because when HDFC wants something, you better make sure you have it in time. Then HDFC Bank was the first bank in the private sector space that went on to open architecture. Yeah, so they allowed, and by virtue of that, they gave their customers a choice, which basically meant that if you're at the HDFC Bank counter, you can choose from HDFC Life, you can choose from Tata, you can choose from Birla, and therefore the customer has a choice, which has pushed all of us to make sure that we bring in good products, which is meant for the right set of customers, different stuff that we bring in. Digital journeys, HDFC, I'm a customer, so I'm saying, nothing can be delivered to an HDFC Bank customer unless it is state-of-the-art enabled on a digital platform. So we are today embedded in the net banking journey of the customer. Today we are integrated with the bank fully. And I think the most beautiful part about this relationship is that for a HDFC Bank customer, it looks like a product that HDFC Bank is bringing in the insurance space with a reasonable choice. You decide what you think is best and pick and make sure which product takes care of your requirement at that point of time is what you should choose. And that, I think, apart from the contribution that it brings to the Aditya Birla Sun Life Insurance, it has brought a distinct contribution to the life insurance industry to say, when you give a choice to a customer, you end up being, and which is what HDFC Bank has been, one of the fastest growing distribution partners amongst banks for the last 3-4 years right now.
So awesome, Kamlesh. So what I hear is there is a bank partner who's keeping us agile, keeping us, giving more insights, making us think on the feet, and also helping create innovative solutions to be seamless in the journey of the bank customers. But Ashima, that brings me to you that whilst he spoke about the open architecture and now we have so many players, what is that Aditya Birla Sun Life Insurance is bringing in for you as a partner? That how are we different?
I think what Kamlesh said was absolutely spot on. When the bank wants something, given the fact that we have a large set of customers and we need to deliver products to them seamlessly and sometimes in a double click scenario. I've seen Aditya Birla Sun Life Insurance be very agile on that. Plus the product repertoire that they have. It's well designed, and whenever we give them feedback from the market, I see them moving much, much faster. So I think that's been an excellent part of the partnership with the leadership team here. They're also embedded in our teams, which makes a lot of difference, because when we are talking insurance, you're talking about teams understanding what the customer wants, and you can't do that by remote control.
Absolutely.
And that's where we've seen this partnership is very good on that agility as well.
So interesting. So now that we're talking about how the category is moving and how the partnership is really seamless and working for each other, I want to now talk about women as a entire audience, as a consumer and a customer, which has in missed. So Kamlesh, coming to you, that why she has been overlooked, and for decades life insurance has made products which are very male oriented. So what has been the gap? Where have we really not been able to see women coming in?
So I'm not sure that we've overlooked. I mean, remember, it's like half the population of the country, so obviously overlooking is not that easy.
But it's not designed around men, right?
Yeah, we still haven't got it right. So I think some of the products that we've got for women may work, but they don't essentially fit. So I think over the last so many years, the perception used to be that the man is the breadwinner, and that is how, because insurance started about 100 years back, the private guys have come in about 25 years back.
Right.
I think that myth to say that insurance is only protection is something that has changed over the last few years for sure. Because remember, like Ashima said, that the word is taboo because you're talking about death, right?
Correct.
So the whole feeling is that insurance as a company is available only when you die. Whereas for the industry, about 93% of the business that we do is actually for people who are living. Of every 100 rupees benefit that gets paid every year for the entire industry put together, we pay only 9 rupees for death. The balance
So the reality
91,
is
the
different.
balance 91 rupees is what we pay for people living. But I think the overlooking part is to get the right product. Okay, and I think what we missed is essentially important. You look at women as borrowers; they are far better than men. NPAs are significantly lower. Take home loan as a benchmark; they'll be about 15 to 20 basis points lower than men on NPA
True.
as a category.
True.
You look at CIBIL score. 730 plus is seen to be a CIBIL score. 20% more women have that score as compared to men in that category. So I'm saying, and I'm not saying doing business or a products for women is, any social cause that we are taking care
No,
of.
no,
It makes sense. It's
absolutely.
business.
Yeah.
And it's 50% of the population. But we've kind of done fixes to say, this is a generic product and we bought, a little bit of variance in the past, but not necessarily something that will meet the needs of the woman fully. And I think that's something we've tried to work on. And over the last 6 months, if there's something that I've tried to break my head over is to say, why something which is 50% of the population is less than 25% of the policies that are bought, and is there an opportunity to be able to create something that is meant for them, that has been created for them, and that is how they should perceive it, and not just because we are saying we are offering a product in the marketplace.
So, whilst you've been spending 6 months trying to understand a women's world from a male point, but I want to come to you, Ashima, on the banking side. You've seen that, women in career, women have gaps, women take breaks. There are various things that, happen in a woman's life, which is very different from what a male counterpart is going. But overall, BFSI has still not been able to bring in women-friendly, women-first products. They may be repackaging it through advertising. What has been your journey? Like, what do you all do in HDFC?
I think what you're saying is absolutely right. Women's products so far are kind of, I wouldn't say ignored, but designed to suit the lifestyle or the life cycle in a woman's journey, because that's a reality. I always tell my teams that, women will have children. They will have to take care. They are the primary caregiver of the family. And when we are developing products, and this is an argument I have even with some of my counterparts in other banks as well as internally, designing products about women is not just giving a pink color card or a pink color,
Oh,
label
absolutely.
loan, because that's not what you're looking
We're
at.
celebrating Women's Day.
Yes, so it's an equal product which women can consume, keeping in mind their the life journey that they will have, which will be definitely different. That's nothing to shy away from. So giving like some bit of benefit on payments, EMI during the break that they will be needing to take is very, very important. So product are still there. They are being tweaked to suit a woman, but if you ask me if we've got there, I don't think so.
So, Ashima, now that HDFC has close to 10,000 plus branches, across India, and so there is urban, rural, do you see the way life insurance is bought in different, geographies are done differently?
When we're talking about life insurance, yes, it's bought differently. The metros and even the semi-urban, the awareness is much, much more. Uh, Primarily because the salaried population is much more in these centers. And if I go to rural India, there's more unorganized labor. More farm labor, more, even in the women category, the same. The statistics will remain the same. The primary unorganized labor is in rural India. The consumption of insurance, therefore, varies across rural and metro cities. It's very different. Coming back to when you're talking about women, and you have salaried women, mainly.
Yeah.
The penetration of insurance, primarily life insurance or even general insurance for that matter, is in a low single digit
Yeah,
for the
overall the
women,
penetration is
is
also,
much lower.
yeah.
And that's much, much lower when you go to rural center, because there is an essential difference. The woman is not considered, especially in rural India, to be the primary decision maker for any financial decision.
True.
And to empower them to see that yes, they can take the financial decisions is where we will come in. And we are doing that in a large way in rural India by financial literacy for women. As a bank, we are focusing a lot on that as well.
So in fact, that was my next, build up, that because banks are the first go-to for any women to start their financial journey, right?
Yeah.
So how are we at HDFC empowering women to really take their decision forward beyond their current or savings account into the insurance, life insurance as product? So are we doing something different over there?
We are. I think in rural India, we are talking about them considering even a smaller ticket insurance product. So it's very important for them to understand why insurance is important. And just like when Kamlesh said, it's not just about life protection, it's
True.
an investment product as well. So you have to change the narrative when you're talking to those segments. And even in urban and metro centers, we find it's not like a brilliant penetration even in the women's sector. Because again, how they consume insurance, it's pretty much considered a male domain. So there also the information, the awareness has to grow. And that's where, we all come in there to increase that awareness because, like I said, the runway is very long.
No, I agree. In fact, I was looking at one of the statistics where 60% of women, and that's more in urban, they are still participating in the decision. But if they have to buy on their own, like, they're still independent, they're salaried, they're earning, they are not buying on their own. The decision making is fine, but not really finally. The end conversion is happening on women's side. And that's where, I was saying that is there any different way of managing this conversation whilst they're sitting on the table, or are we pushing them to come with the partners when you're selling, that come with your spouse or your partner and then take a decision? Is there
We are actively doing that
in our branches?
in our branches and in a large setup. Like for example, the teams that one of the teams that I look after is the virtual, where we're dealing with the largest managed customers in the bank, where we have give or take in the salaried segment itself. 30% upward of our customers, 35% of our customers are women. And they're salaried women and primarily in the urban and the metro centers, completely aware about the financial benefits of insurance. So those conversations to them are different. And products such as what Aditya Birla has as well, if we inform them, if we talk to them, then the understanding I find is far superior
Correct.
on any loan product for that matter. Today, you will find, as opposed to many years ago, women are taking car loans. Today, if you see simple things like credit card penetration for women, it's one of the highest. I mean, it's like a huge.
Yes.
Home loans, women are the primary home loan owner. So those things are changing rapidly, but it's still in single digit percentages.
True.
Which is why more the awareness, more the, and like Kamlesh rightly said, it makes good business sense.
No, absolutely, and that is what Kamlesh coming to you for this entire her as a product that life insurance is getting ready to launch. And but before that, like, because you were saying that you all were working doing research, what really got you to think about her, not just a product but entire category in ABSLI that we're creating for women?
So, like I said, it was pure business. 50% of the population, like I said, credit worthiness is much better. Insurance is a category. If you look at investment philosophy of women, when they do invest, they are a little more conservative, and therefore more gold, more real estate, and insurance fits in there because I mean, basically, insurance as a category is something that will give you assured savings returns over 30 years, 40 years, assured protection. So it actually the match between the customer segment and the product is like bang on. That's got us started to say, can we create something distinctively different? So her is HER, her in Hindi also means Har Nari Ke Liye Insurance. So we found a right way of presenting
Very
what we
amazing.
wanted to present to the mass at large. Then we looked at what all do we need to take care of. Ashima mentioned to say, things to take care of is to say, I'll have a break. Yeah, maybe I won't be able to pay premiums at that point of time. So we said, let's build that into the product. Let's say that if you buy protection, you may have a break and you will not be able to pay premium for a particular period of time. We built that into a product right now to say, it's okay, you didn't pay it that year, you can pay it the year after that. It requires to look at benefits at different points of time. Okay, I mean, it's only a woman that brings anybody else into this world, and therefore I'm saying there are breaks at that point of time. Different life stages.
Yeah.
Maternity. Can we look at making sure one of the things which are most prominent in women as far as medical thing is concerned is cancer and breast cancer? Can we try and bring in some element of that? So the idea was to be able to say, can we bring in different elements and bring in our product, and we've been able to do work on some of them for sure. The biggest one, and I think me and Ashima were discussing this, we've still not been able to price that. We're hoping we'll get that to say, if you take a break for say 2 or 3 years,
Wow.
can we replace income at that point of time? Because that's the big thing that is on the minds of everybody.
Yes.
And I mean, the team is working right now to see whether it can build in even that. If you build in that, and I'm saying I think the product of
That's
her
amazing
will be,
and game changer, right?
it will be fully complete, but we've built components of it. We want to just add on to that to see whether we can make our product fully complete or not.
So this is it's not a slow build up. You're really taking a bold step over here and like really creating a category and a statement. How are we looking at launching this, Kamlesh?
I think we got to figure out ways of making sure awareness about this is significantly higher. Like you said, you're not happy when we celebrate essentially Women's Day. I don't know whether it means something or no. But if you bring something which is really meant for the consumer as a category, I think will get better appreciated. I think talk about it more. So I think visibility is important. Talk on digital platforms, communities where these things are getting discussed today. And I'm happy that they're getting discussed today. Second is about making sure there are a large number of influencers today or people who have views who are there and they have a large number of followers. We want to talk to them and say, talk about this. We're not interested in saying, I want to talk about a product or it's a category that we want to break into and talk about. So I think that's the other thing that's important. And I think one of the reasons I think I like women as customers is because they like something. If you offered them something, they talk about it. Yeah, men complain more and talk, appreciate a little lesser. But I think women as a customer segment, if they get what they have been offered and they like it, I think word of mouth is something that we are trying to work on. So basically these 3 elements, talk a little more, make it more visible, get influencers or people who make a difference to talk about it, and then hope that we can, through the product offering, if we have met the satisfaction, try and see whether we can capture word of mouth through the same.
And create the virality. So tell me, whilst creating this, because see, I know in insurance to create a women product where there is maternity, there is break, obviously the pricing goes up because it is expected to happen. So it's an anti-category kind of a thing. So when you were doing this, did you have challenges with your team? Because is there a commercial viability vis-a-vis a good to do or really a need of the hour? So how did you balance that, Kamlesh?
When I first started with the thinking process that what's the right team that you should set in? Should men design a woman's product or should women design a woman's product? It took us time when we had a mix of only one doing it. When we got the right mix of both people put together, I think it moved a little faster. See, pricing is always a challenge, and I must tell you that at insurance we. I said this to Ashima at one sense to say that there's too much of insurance experience in insurance. So we just think in a different fashion. We don't think
like
essentially customer because we are very distribution oriented because 95% of our business is intermediated. So you think from that lens. So this required shifting the lens to say you have to start thinking of the customer and then kind of try.
Like how Dove did for the category, right?
Because then
you need a CPG
you can't set aside and say. This is what I have to do with the distribution and then I will do what balance with the customer. This is required to say this is what I'll do with the customer. Then go back and talk to distribution. And I'll tell you examples, why we like HDFC Bank. When we created a product which was like a mutual fund, it meant different economics even for HDFC Bank. But amongst all the other banks that we work with, HDFC was fine to say it takes care of a customer segment of mine called PPG. I'm okay to work on differential because the product was so much more better for the customer, and that kind of worked at a point in time. So I think the issues were there, but I'm happy we've reached a stage, and I'm happy that men participated as much in the creation of this, and we hope that the her is fine, but if it becomes her Nari buys it, then I'm saying I'd be much happier.
So, do you see this becoming a template for more and more product categories coming in the life insurance space? Because you've gone to really, see, the importance is not repackaging or just tweaking as we were talking, really going grounds up, really understanding her need, her life stages, and really placing the product and empathizing with the, the woman in her for the product where you're making the choices. So, do you really see this becoming a template on how we move ahead?
My view is yes, because it will for us as well as for the industry. I think I also have a role as say the Insurance Awareness Council chair,
absolutely.
and when we did that research and study for about 5,000, 6,000 people, people think nothing will happen to them. That's the biggest barrier. Okay, so the awareness of life insurance actually is better than deposits. Ashima. Financial awareness is actually better, but conversion from awareness to consideration is where insurance, misses the whole plot. So the entire campaign, two most important things that we got. One was that I'm interested in taking care of my child's future, and that seems to resonate with women significantly higher than with men. So my sense is, if we think through these kind of features, and industry catches up very fast. I mean, your life of a new product or a new thinking is roughly about 6 to 8 months time, and then somebody else comes in. We'd be happy if more and more people do this, because the category will expand, and I think it will give the additional penetration that life insurance as an industry is looking for. So if you want insurance for all by 2047, and we don't have a product which caters to 50% of the population, I don't think we'll get there without that.
Then it's just a statement with no action. Ashima, coming to you, because now you see a different generation of women coming in. I'm going to bring in the Gen Z, which are coming in. Then you also have the millennials, and we also have, and he spoke about in, why women are still, like if it is for the child or the child's future, I understand, but what happens to the younger one that is coming in? So overall, do you see any difference in the bank, women buying behavior and financial services, where the younger ones are coming in more aware?
Oh, absolutely. I think I must say that much against the perception, the younger generation is extremely financially savvy. And I know this because I lead a young team, which average age is about 28, 29. And I find them extremely financially savvy in terms of both protection as well as how they organize their finances as well. And almost 60% plus of those are women. In my unit, my diversity is almost 60%.
Wow.
So I can see that actually happening. And Kamlesh is actually spot on. When you're talking about to a woman, rather than have like a repackaged product or a more kind of a patronizing outlook,
absolutely.
if you talk about them taking care of their children, because as a primary caregiver, what is my first lookout? How my children will be protected, God forbid something was to happen. Then you're changing the conversation. And actually, the conversation becomes easier with women, because if you convince one or two influencer or the leaders, and then they talk about it saying, look, I have done this, it becomes so much easier as a product acceptance. So I've seen the way that they consume products also changing. Any product, I mean, look at ourselves as well. If you're talking about our earlier generation, our parents, they would always save to buy a car.
Absolutely.
I don't think loans was even in the consideration. Today's generation, the first thing they do when they get a job is take a two-wheeler loan or a car loan. They need to have a plastic in their hand.
Right.
So the entire financial landscape is completely changing, and it's not changing slowly. It's changing very rapidly, and insurance fits right in. But one thing I must say is how they consume products is also changing.
Absolutely.
Today, if I get into, say, for example, an Uber, I can get insurance on the fly for that journey. So the consumption, they don't like a long drawn out process.
No, absolutely.
They
Instant
want
gratification.
yes, absolutely. They have to have like a simple product, easy understanding, and literally a two-click experience. That's where both Aditya Birla and HDFC Bank come in, because we focus completely on digital delivery of products.
So tell me something, when you heard about her, this, that product that we're launching for women, how do you see this now coming to life in HDFC Bank, in your branches or in your VRM? What do you see, this, how do you look at it launching there?
I was candid when I told Kamlesh that I just love the name, because it just
Absolutely.
encapsulates both things. And if we make that awareness in our branches, every time a woman customer walks into the branch, to convince her that she is the primary decision maker.
Yeah, that's
That's where
important.
it'll change.
I
That
agree.
you don't have to wait. You can check with your spouse 100%. You must have a conversation. But think about taking insurance first in your name.
That confidence that
That
I can,
confidence
yeah,
that you can take the insurance, and it's not. See, the other thing that's also, insurance is considered a kind of complicated product.
absolutely.
That because of all the jargons that are being thrown at you, and not just for women, for men also, it's considered very complicated. You have to demystify insurance.
Right.
So those conversations, when they become easier, and you actually need just a few people to influence that, and then it becomes easier, both in the virtual team that we look after, or even in branches. Because ultimately, and Kamlesh is right, our lookout is to making sure the customer gets what they want.
What they want.
So when you're starting from understanding the customer better, then it's not a product sale. You're fulfilling either a dream, or you're fulfilling some need that they have.
Absolutely.
It's an aspiration that they have, rather than you trying to push product.
Push
And that's something we've changed across the bank.
So from the push category, we want to pull, we want them to come and ask
100%.
for it. So Kamlesh, that Ashima is making a very important point, and I know, being in with ABC and insurances, that it gets very complex. How have we demystified the language, and especially for women who are we wanting them to enter the category, to not just take take the decision for themselves, not just be a part and wait for the spouse to say yes. So are we working towards that to really demystify the language?
So I don't think insurance has done a great job of that in the past few years, but we are cognizant. I think people our age and the next generation have to be clear that today this is 30% of the population, but in 10 years from now this will become 55% of the population. So these are going to be your customers, and how you adapt and hopefully faster, I think is going to be important. I was very surprised that when we were doing this work for the industry, in a focus group discussion of large number of people, all graduates and above, one of the common myths they had was to say, if I buy protection and if I live, my money gets wasted. The premiums have gone for a toss, where 40% of the life insurance industry sells products where if you live, you can get your premiums fully back. So this demystification,
understood. Yeah,
people
you're
don't
right.
know. Yeah, people don't know this.
There's no
I mean,
awareness, right.
and we haven't done a good job as an industry to be able to talk about some of these things. So if you look at the whole campaign, the way we are talking is to say, first we want to bring in product consideration, which is what we are doing. We will get into demystification as an industry to say, hey, you can buy protection and still get your money back. Yeah, not many people know that fixed deposits you get for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years at best.
Yeah.
There's only insurance that gives you money guaranteed for 30 years and 40 years. So you don't have reinvestment risk at all. In India, aging population, we're no longer going to be a young
Youth,
country.
yeah.
60 plus is 11% of our population. Fast forward 20 years, it's supposed to be 23%
Correct.
of the population then. But nobody is thinking about annuity. Yeah? At age of 45, 50, we worry about our car loans, like she said, then home loans, and worry about our kids' education. And suddenly at 50, you're worried about what will you leave behind. Hang on, you're going to live between 60 and 80. Costs are not going to be easier. Health inflation will keep going up. So annuity, where you can get guaranteed income over, say, 20, 30 years till you live. These are product categories that only insurance takes care of in a reasonable fashion. But we haven't demystified as much as we can. So we picked these categories. And this is gender agnostic. It's as applicable to a woman as it would be applicable to a man. And therefore simplify and say, hey, we are out there. We deserve to be a part of your financial asset allocation. How much I don't know, but we definitely deserve a place in that allocation for sure.
So in her, because women need that simplification, they really need to. So even when we are launching the product, have you really looked at every parameter to really simplify it from the understanding and awareness point? The
So,
language or.
yeah, so I think the key is the language.
Yes.
Yeah, like Ashima said, you want to say sum assured. Yeah, people get worried about what does sum assured mean. So we've employed agency which has nothing to do with insurance to say simple agar bolna hai to can we change the words to say that it's possible to explain the same thing in a much easier fashion. Just basically say if when this happens in your life, is what it will take care of. When this happens in your life, this is what it will take care of. You have a break, you don't need to pay a premium. Uh, Insurance is also a product where we don't engage with customers as frequently. So in one of our products in insurance meant for her, we bought the concept of health management services, okay, which basically is an entire
Nice.
bouquet of health management services that you can get.
So, health and wellness side?
It's on the wellness side. You get your doctor's appointment. You can do all of that online, and there's no cost to pay for it. It's a part of the
Amazing.
product itself. You're not saying you buy this rider and make it more complicated and say in the plan it is available. It's if you otherwise go out, you'll end up spending about 30,000-40,000 for the same benefit. It's inbuilt into the product itself. You utilize it and see how it serves very well. And there are companies who are delivering that service today, who are ready to do it at the back end, and we've got very good experience for when we tried basically looking at it. So, idea is to build a product on a story which says this is your lifetime experience, this is what you will face, and this is what the product can take care of. But like I said, we've started. We have work to do to make sure that we get good at it.
No, but amazing. At least the journey has begun. And I have some, listeners' question, Kamlesh, on the product that I'm going to ask you, just so that we demystify the product for them and motivate them to buy. So one of the question is that if I take 6 month or 1 year break for caregiving, how does her support me then? How does the mechanics work?
So you got a break of a premium in our product.
So when do they have to? So that 1 year there's break, they don't
So
have
once
to.
in 5 years, you can have a break in the product and not pay the premium, but it's still absolutely okay.
But do I have to then pay back when I come back? Do I have
Yes,
to-
you pay it back the next year, and there are no additional charges for it.
Awesome. So they can take that 1 year break once in 5 years. One of my biggest fear, one of the listeners asking, is being diagnosed with something like breast or cervical cancer. Does her insurance really cover illness that are specific to women?
So we want to bring it in, but remember that as life insurance, you can't do indemnity. You can do fixed benefit products, but the next one that we're trying to bring
So
in
what is fixed benefit?
so
Can
you can
explain?
cover for an amount. Unlike say when you buy a medical claim policy, you bought a value, and whatever happens to you, I'm saying the amount covers it. That is called indemnity, which health insurance companies are allowed to do. In life insurance, for the same thing, you can say if this happens, I'll pay you X amount of money. It's a fixed benefit product. That is what is allowed under the.
So if I have taken a 5 lakh cover and if I end up getting it, you give me full 5 lakh. Is
So
that-
if your cost is 5 lakhs, I can't cover you in that fashion to say you buy 5 lakhs from me and everything is covered. I can say for breast cancer and cervical cancer, which is important, 2 lakh rupees will be paid to you.
Got it.
It's not a function of what you will incur, it's a function of what I can pay as
What you can
fixed benefit. That is possible.
And the one more question. Insurance always feels like something you buy and forget until you have to claim. So is there anything in her that, keeps me going engaged or keeps me healthy?
Yeah, so health management services was the answer to that question to say, and we saw that in the focus group when we did to say women were more happier to use that because issues are larger, but somebody can just do it on telephone, and people are consuming that today. So why not build that entire feature on the product itself? So roughly anything and everything that you can think of in your daily life for a doctor, for an appointment, for a scan, all of it is possible today through the health management services that we offer in the product itself.
Ashima, coming to you, if women become more financially today, visible, independent, how do you think it changes the game, not just in insurance and overall in financial services?
Oh, I think it changes tremendously because as a woman, like I keep repeating, that they're primary caregivers. That's the reality of life.
Right.
So when they become more financially savvy, and we've seen this even in rural India, when we empower women to become financially independent, what do they worry about? They worry about fixing their house roof. They worry about their children's education. So, for them, it's a question of sustaining the future. So when the women become more and more financially savvy, that's what they use that finance for either protection or for saving or for even taking loans. So the direction of the financial education goes in a different trajectory for women across, and we've seen that. There's empirical
Right.
evidence to prove that. They're very good at saving. They
So they
will make
carry the
sure.
whole
They
family
carry the whole
progress.
family. They
Yeah.
will always worry about the family. I'm not saying men don't worry about the family.
No, true.
The the difference is very stark in rural India. We find that very stark. If you come upon money, I'm not saying that most men will use it, but they use it in a different direction rather than worry about, let me see how my house is sorted or my children are educated. We see a lot of women doing that.
And I also feel the stickiness that women will bring in the product as opposed to, men, and nothing against them, but they may buy and tomorrow if there is some issue, they will not renew. I feel the renewal stickiness for women because the reasons they are buying, not just for themselves, they're buying for the
For
whole
the
family.
family,
So
yeah.
that's where I feel, Kamlesh, I feel the stickiness of renewal should be higher.
I wouldn't agree more. Definitely agree on that. Yeah, it will be better. And that's why I'm saying it makes business
It
sense.
makes business sense.
And coming to, I just want to add to something that Kamlesh said earlier, and we spoke about demystification. I think one of the things I find very frequent is that bankers and maybe even the insurance industry, we love jargon.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, we use jargon as if, and we love abbreviations, which, like you're talking sum assured. But what does that really mean? I think if we bring that simple understanding, then we'll find a lot of penetration increasing. Things that are come naturally to us as bankers or as insurance companies may not be very natural for the consumer to understand.
True. And I
So,
think that's the food for thought you're also giving me because since I run the whole marketing ship,
yeah.
all of us to have to work together to de-jargonize it and make it more day-to-day parlance is what you're saying.
Oh, yes, all the time. And in
Yeah.
fact, that's one thing that I'm talking to my younger team as well. They come, they learn a whole bunch, they love
Oh,
abbreviations.
they love.
And half the time I'm not understanding those abbreviations. So I have to keep telling them, can you explain this to me? But that's the reality. And that is across banking industry. We like to show that we know all the jargon, but that's not what the customer is. And for me, a customer would be for example, my mother. She would be the right customer for me. If she understands that jargon, I've made
I
it.
agree.
But she doesn't understand that jargon.
True.
How do I simplify banking for that kind of customer segment is what is very important.
And collectively, there's a lot more to be done. Every time we talk around this, but I think to bridge that gap is where one has to fundamentally push compliance also and regulator because we really are using
Yeah.
the compliance language on
No,
communication.
you can use the compliance language, no question about it. But there's nothing wrong in talking simple
I
English.
agree. I agree with you. So that brings me to what does success look like for her? And for both of you, all, whether it's from the bank or from the manufacturer side, is it a number of lives covered, the penetration, or or something more deeper?
I think it's a category, so I'd be much happier if it gets at least recognized as a product that has really arrived to take care of the segment that we are talking about. I think that will be a big shift for us. Uh, like you rightly said, insurance, because it is more conservative, more based on assured savings and guarantees, meant completely for the segment because they think like that. I only wish and hope that at some point of time, if we have, we have 3 million customers right now, we want to move to about 5. It'd be happier if we have half of them as part of her.
So 50% is what you are looking at, Ashima. What does it feel for you in the banking environment?
Oh, that would make me tremendously happy if that gets to 50%, which is why I'm saying there's a long runway.
Right.
If I'm talking about lower single digit penetration across women products. So, and if you look at even aspiring to get to close to 50, 50 would be a dream.
Dream, right.
But even if I move up 2 percentage, because of the scale of the country, even a 1% increase is adding a whole new customer base to, I mean, it's like what Kamlesh said earlier, it's adding one new bank, literally. That's the scale that we are really talking about. So I would be tremendously happy if we bring that awareness. So I'm really rooting for this product.
No, absolutely. Even I think that one is the large piece of awareness and creating a community of her and then coming down and saying, yes, if we increase the number of people buying the policy, using the policy, and renewing, I think that's a whole gamut of things that one can look at. So, for all the listeners, I would really urge that look at her, go to ABSLI, which where you'll get the policy to buy. But more than that, you have all the HDFC bank branches where you'll also get to buy her. So do believe in it, do buy, and get your financial protection or your life insurance asset building started now.
So this is finally a dream coming true, because this is one product that I have perhaps taken the longest possible time to get to reality, to the market. We wanted to make sure it is relevant. Like I said, we think it is. We'd like to hear from our customers whether her product is really meant for her Nari in this country, is what we'd like to hear back as feedback.
So amazing. Now, her for her Nari. And now we're going to do something more fun, which is our rapid fire. And I'm going to just throw questions. Same question for you. Let's hear a different version or different answers. Ashima, for you, the first thing you bought with your own salary?
I bought earrings for my grandmom.
Very sweet.
The first thing I bought, I deposited the money in my dad's account.
This generation where we would, buy something or depositing, today's generation, I think, is going to be iPhone or one phone or something. That's the first thing.
Today's generation, you don't even know what happened with the money that they got.
Oh, they would have partied out.
Yeah, my son got an increment after he finished his first year. I didn't even know about it.
That's true.
One advice you would give to your younger self, in the hindsight now that, over 30 years?
I think one advice, nothing to do with banking or saving, would be to start a fitness journey much earlier. And that's what I tell my teams.
Because I heard that you trek, right? You have done all the,
Fun stuff.
Mansarovaras through. So where did that inspiration come?
It was actually one of those bucket list items which you constantly kept postponing. But I finally decided that today is a better day than any. And something that I must share that my husband told me is because I told him I'll do it next year. And I'm actually feeling like I won't be able to do it this year. Let me do it next year. So his one line answer he said, you're younger than you will be next year. So it's as simple as that. So, I mean, it, but it hit home. So I said, why not now?
Why not now? Amazing. And one advice you would give your younger self, Kamlesh?
To buy a protection policy much earlier.
Really?
Not many people realize that, and I think it's an issue, and I'm not just saying because I'm life insurance. At 30 you think you don't have the money, so you buy that 30, 40 lakh policy that you buy, only to realize at 40, I need about 2 crores cover. At 50 you realize it has to be 10 crores, not realizing that the cost of what you are buying has gone up so disproportionately, because the price at which you would have got it at that age would have been so much more cheaper for sure.
So start your protection and life insurance journey earlier. So outside of work that excites you or gives you more energy, what is that?
Playing the various sports that I play, and the 1 hour of the gym in the morning that I make sure nobody can take away from me.
So your health journey and the sports that you play. And how about you, Ashima?
What excites me is, of course, my kids, very important in terms of how they are doing. And secondly, the fitness activities that I really like, the outdoors.
Nice. And I've picked up pickleball lately.
Oh, wow.
So we should have a pickleball session if you guys are. If you want into banking and financial services, what would be your career then that you would have picked?
Oh, no, I've thought of hundreds of careers that I could have done. I think I would have been a chef.
Oh, amazing. You like cooking?
Completely radically different. Yes, I like cooking.
What about you?
I say, I don't know, Ashima, whether your kids have gone abroad to study, but mine went too. And if I had an opportunity, perhaps create a brand of schools in the country that all over the world people want to bring to India.
If you had to give financial advice just in 3 words, what would it be?
Always start early.
How about you? What would it be if you had to give a financial services advice in 3 words?
I couldn't say it better than what he did. Start early. Think about the future.
So do it now.
Because it'll come sooner than you think.
Amazing. And with that, thank you very much for being on this show. And I hope the listeners enjoy, because there's so much more to take away. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
This isn't just a new product, it's a wake-up call for the industry. One that says it's time to move from dependency narratives to empowerment realities. Thanks to Kamlesh and Ashima for leading with purpose and showing us what inclusive innovation looks like. If you are a woman or someone who cares for one, think of a moment where financial support was missing. That's the gap Her is here to close. If today's episode made you pause and rethink the financial narratives we take for granted, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and I will see you in the next episode.